Hi guys, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. This time round I'm just going to talk to you about examination options in the UK and abroad from two main examining boards that you can take music exams with. Specifically I'll be talking about piano students, piano exams, but it can apply to pretty much any instrument. So in the UK there are two main examination boards. One is called ABRSM and another is Trinity College London. Now both have very similar approaches, yet they differ in a few things. So let's talk about ABRSM first. They have face-to-face exams and repertoire exams or performance exams, where in face-to-face exam you have to book through the portal and go to a specific music center depending on where you live. There are plenty of those around, so you just usually type your postcode and select whichever one is most convenient and closest to where you live, and you go on the day that you get assigned. There are 3 examination sessions every year, one around November and December time, then the second one March, end of March and April, and then June and July session. Applications usually open 2 months prior to the examining session, so September time for November and December session, mid-January for March and April, and similarly before the summer session. Now there are 8 grades in music, with the initial grade being like an entry point. So for initial grade you already need to have some basic knowledge, so this is not complete beginner's level, but the pieces are really simple. 1 page usually within 5-finger positions. So when I teach, I usually transition to this initial stage after about 2 or 3 lessons, where when I've described and talked about all the basics with my students. So you'll pretty much start on that initial stage right from the beginning. And then we have grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. By the time you're grade 8, you're almost like a semi-professional player. The pieces are quite advanced. Some of them can go up to 8 pages in length. And yeah, so usually on average it takes about 1 year to cover 1 grade or 1 level, but some people do it quicker, some take a little bit longer. This is all really down to individual approach, and that's why it's so cool that we have 3 examining sessions every year. So whenever a person is ready, you can pretty much find like the next available date, apply for an exam and go and take it and have your nice certificate that you've achieved this specific level in piano playing. For face-to-face exams you will have to learn 3 pieces. Now in the books that are sold for ABRSM, you will have the choice between 9, I think, in the book, yes. So there's an A group, B group, C group. You have to pick 1 from each. There is also plenty of additional repertoire stated at the back, so if you want to play something else that is not exactly in the graded book, you can always pick a different option. So the repertoire lists are really quite extensive and cater to all sorts of tastes and styles. So why are they divided into A, B and C? Simply because they address different areas of skills. So A group is usually quite a technical piece, so in most cases it will be a fast-paced piece, really designed to improve your technique, flexibility, you know, and it's usually the hardest out of all the 3 groups. B group pieces tend to be slower, and the aspects that it's mostly addressing its phrasing, musicality, pedaling when you reach the stage of playing with the pedal, which comes at about grade 3 or 4 level, legato, so all of those little things. And C group usually will have a bit more complexity in the rhythms and chords. Articulation details will be a little bit more varied, so that's lots of accents, staccatos, legatos, and so on. But this structure does not change. So whether you're doing grade initial or grade 4 or grade 8, you will still have to select those 3 pieces, and they pretty much fall in those 3 categories. Then you have to prepare a set of scales and arpeggios that are usually stated at the back of the book. You will not be asked all of them in your exam. In your face-to-face exam, usually it's about 1 or 2 items from each section, but obviously you don't know which ones you'll be asked, so you do have to prepare all of them. What I would usually say to my students, and generally when I advise, do please pay attention to the speeds indicated and what is required at a particular grade or level, because that does not matter. As an examiner, I'll tell you, I hear a lot of exams where people know their scales, know their arpeggios, but it's grade 6 and they're playing it at the speed of grade 4. And I can't give good marks for this kind of playing, because technique or being able to play really fluently and accurately, it's really such a big component of this category. So do make sure you check it with the metronome. You don't have to always practice with the metronome, but at least check so you know what the speed is and you will know what you aim for. With the same view in mind, there's no specific need to go much faster than what is required. Again, I hear this quite a bit in exams, because if it's going to cause you to stumble or make unnecessary mistakes, then it does not make sense. You will not be awarded much higher marks just because you're playing it faster. And like I said, it might actually risk you taking or making some errors. So that's the technical work. So we've got 3 pieces. We've got the technical work of scales and arpeggios, and the other 2 tests are sight reading and oral. Now, sight reading is actually a really important part of piano education, so please do not neglect it. Even if you just love playing songs, you don't have to do sight reading tests as exercises, but at least do some little reading of additional pieces to keep practicing your ability to recognize notes and be fluent at notation reading. Imagine if you know how to recite a poem, but if I give you a book you can't read it. That's not really something that would want to see happening all over. But in the sight reading test in your exam, you will be given a short piece of music depending on the grade. I mean, between grades one initial up to 3, I think it's 1 line, and then it's 2 lines, 3 lines. For grade 8 is almost like a page, but it's always approximately the level, obviously much easier than what you will learn as your pieces or your songs, but it will be covering all the areas. For instance, the key signatures, you will get many more sharps and flats the higher you go in grades. You will have 30 seconds to prepare it in the exam, and then you will have to play it for the examiner on the day. Oral test is something that again can be practiced with your teacher as you're preparing, but usually they're relatively easy. They involve clapping, singing, recognizing time signatures, being able to describe a piece of music in terms of dynamics, articulation, period, and style. But all the requirements are stated on the ABRSM's website. So those are the components for face-to-face exams. Now for the performance exams, which are recorded exams, they can be recorded at any point, again for whatever grade you want, and even at a diploma level. So whenever you're ready, you can just record yourself and upload it and be assessed by it. But the difference is, instead of 3 pieces, you have to play 4, and there are no other additional tests. So that is the ABRSM structure. Now with Trinity College London, you also have options of face-to-face and recorded repertoire exams. the same structure from initial up to grade 8. A structure for face-to-face exams, again, you have to play 3 songs from the syllabuses or additional repertoire. There is a set of scales and arpeggios. Again, the same rules apply. Please do check the speed level to make sure that you are not playing too slowly, because this will matter greatly in your exams. And then for the other 2 tests, up to grade 5, you have an option of 4 actually. You will have to select your preferred 2, so you will only have 2 tests on the day, but there's an option out of 4, and those are sight reading, which I've already discussed when I was talking about ABRSM. The same kind of structure applies. You will be given a short piece of music, you'll have 30 seconds to try it out, and then you have to play it through. Second one is oral tests. They're slightly different for this board, but basically cover the same knowledge about time signature, dynamics, cadences, chords, and things like that. And then you've got musical knowledge test, which is a little bit like a theory test, but and it's actually quite a popular option, generally speaking. You will be asked 5 questions based on your pieces, and those questions again range depending on the level, but they will include things like what is an interval between those 2 notes, and the examiner will point in your piece, or what a key signature is your piece in. And the questions are based on the 2 pieces that you play in your exam. The first one the candidate selects, whichever piece they want to discuss, and then the second one the examiner selects. And the 4th test is improvisation. Now, it's much more actually common for other instruments, like jazz instruments, or I see it much more often for clarinets and flutes and singers, and rather than pianists. But I have seen people select improvisation test, which is quite a great test actually, where you are given a stimulus or a short kind of theme or phrase upon which you have to improvise for about, again, 30 seconds. So those 4 tests are an option up to grade 5. From grade 6, between grade 6 and 8, sight reading becomes compulsory, so you don't have an option. You definitely need to select sight reading and then oral or improvisation. So those are the differences. For ABRSM, you can take piano exams up to grade 5. If you want to proceed to grade 6 and onwards, you need to pass grade 5 theory test. You don't need to take every single grade in theory as an exam, but you just need to sit grade 5. So many people just choose to opt for just studying for that grade 5 and passing it. But to be really honest, it's not as hard as most imagine, because by the time you are grade 5 level in playing, you kind of will have covered all the knowledge that is required for grade 5 theory exam. So you just need to really take that test. There isn't any prerequisite for grade 6 with Trinity. You can just progress through to grade 6 and beyond. A repertoire exam, again, very similarly to ABRSM with Trinity, you just need to learn 4 pieces and upload them at whatever point. Actually, there are 2 options for recorded exams with Trinity. One that does have a technical work exam, a technical work section, but is much reduced. So you play 3 pieces and the technical work, which is 2 exercises and a selection of scales and arpeggios. So either this as a recorded exam or repertoire only exam, which is just 4 pieces. And I also didn't mention that in face-to-face exams, the difference between Trinity and ABRSM is that technical work for Trinity contains scales and arpeggios, but also 3 exercises, which are really like short pieces that are pretty much technical pieces, but you have to prepare 3. In your exam, you'll be asked 2. So again, as a candidate, you can choose the first exercise. So you definitely know your first exercise that you will be playing, and then the examiner chooses between the other two. So those are the main differences. I'm going to post a blog about this because I ask this question so frequently, many times. People are not sure what exams are available, what they should pick and choose. If you ask me what is the best option, there isn't such thing as the best option, because you just need to see what works for you individually. Some people are really having a huge stage fright, and recorded option, whichever board, whether ABRSM or Trinity, is definitely the best option for them. Some people really strive at going somewhere and, you know, presenting themselves and playing in front of an examiner, and having that real-time experience. So you just have to really see what will work best for you. Sometimes you can vary between them, so you can do one grade face-to-face, then next grade you can skip doing an exam altogether, and then the following you can do recorded. It really does not matter. I would also like to mention, because again there's some confusion about this part, you don't need to take every single grade as an exam. And in any case, it's only the highest grade or the highest level that you achieve that matters. And I've seen people do no exams and then just take grade 8. I've seen people who do every single grade because that stimulates them. It's a motivation for them to work towards something. And some people do one grade, then skip, then another. Some people do 2 grades with Trinity, 3 with ABRSM. It's really all very flexible and just dependent on your preferences. So I hope you found this helpful. Let me know in the comments or reach out on Instagram if you have any more questions, and I will see you in the next clip, which is going to be a teaching video or based on a specific piece. See you then. Bye.